The junior sister who just joined the emergency room of the hospital accidentally revealed her inner thoughts. What should I do? Should I tell senior brother that senior sister gave the patient the wrong medicine during the operation just now, which caused the patient to have an allergic reaction and almost died? In order not to be found out, she even deliberately tampered with the infusion record and wanted me to take the blame for her. Maybe I'd better not say anything. Senior sister is highly respected and is like an angel in white in the emergency room. The patients all trust her. Besides, she's senior brother's fiancé. How could senior brother believe me? Well, if I have to take the blame, then so be it. I'm a nobody. At worst, I'll be fired by the hospital and cursed by the patients. After my fiancé and also my superior, Eric, heard the junior sister's inner thoughts, the way he looked at me immediately became angry and reproachful. The junior sister thought that by revealing her inner thoughts, she could make me take the responsibility. However, she didn't know that I had been reincarnated. In this life, I could also hear her inner thoughts. Just after the operation, I walked out of the operating table with the junior sister Selena. My fiancé and also my boss, Eric, strode over and stared at Selena eagerly and asked, "How was it? Was the operation successful?" Senior brother. Selena's lips trembled, and she was about to say something with an aggrieved look on her face. But after looking at me, she shut her mouth again. At the same time, her inner thoughts rang out, "What should I do? Should I tell senior brother that senior sister gave the patient the wrong medicine during the operation just now, which caused the patient to have an allergic reaction and almost died?" In order not to be found out, she even deliberately tampered with the infusion record and wanted me to take the blame for her. Maybe I'd better not say anything. Senior sister is highly respected and is like an angel in white in the emergency room. The patients all trust her. Besides, she's senior brother's fiancé. How could senior brother believe me? Well, if I have to take the blame, then so be it. I'm a nobody. At worst, I'll be fired by the hospital and cursed by the patients. Eric, who had been looking expectant just a moment ago, immediately changed his expression after hearing these words and looked at me in disbelief. It was the same in my previous life. Selena didn't follow the instructions on the operating table and randomly administered medicine to the patient, which caused the patient to have an allergic reaction and die miserably. And after she walked out of the operating room, she just called out, "Senior brother," in a coquettish voice. Then she used her inner thoughts to pretend to be aggrieved, and Eric and the others immediately believed that I was the one who had killed the patient. They ignored my explanations and didn't give me a chance to prove myself. When the patient's family members came to demand an explanation, they didn't hesitate to push me out. The hospital believed Eric and Selena's words and determined that it was my responsibility and suspended me from work. The patient's family members were so emotional that they chased me and stabbed me more than 10 times on my way home, and I died miserably on the street. While Selena, with Eric's help, stole the paper that I had finished writing but hadn't published yet and successfully took my place and became a rising star in the academic world. I didn't understand why this had happened until I died miserably. It wasn't until I was reincarnated in this life that I realized that I could actually hear her inner thoughts too. At this moment, Eric obviously couldn't hold back his anger anymore. He looked at me gloomily and said, "What's going on? The patient almost died from an allergic reaction?" I curled my lips and pretended not to know. What allergic reaction of the patient? Eric was stunned for a moment and subconsciously looked at Selena. Selena didn't show any reaction on the surface, but her inner thoughts rang out again. It seems that senior sister wants to shirk responsibility and pretend that this didn't happen. Should I tell senior brother then? I sneered when I heard this. It was the same in my previous life. After walking out of the operating room door, Eric directly scolded me harshly. Then, without giving me a chance to speak, he took me to see the leader and made me take the responsibility. No matter how hard I tried to explain, no one believed me. But this time I didn't bother to argue with them. I glanced at Eric. "If there's nothing else, I'll leave first. I still have another operation later." After saying that, I turned around and left. In Chapter 2, I knew that Selena wouldn't let me off easily. So the first thing I did after leaving was to go to the hospital's monitoring room and take away the surveillance video of this operation. Actually, there was also this surveillance video in my previous life. When I couldn't defend myself, I also proposed to take out the surveillance video for confrontation. But Selena had already deleted the surveillance video in advance. This time I got ahead of her and copied the surveillance video first, and then hid opposite the monitoring room and waited. Sure enough, in less than 2 minutes, Owen, Selena's biggest admirer and my junior brother, showed up. He looked around furtively. After making sure that there was no one around, he quickly went in and deleted the surveillance video just now. Then there was a look of complacency in his eyes, and he left again. I took a picture of this scene with my mobile phone. Great, the evidence loop was closed. I was just about to continue with the next operation when I was stopped right at the entrance of the operating room. As soon as I turned around, a middle-aged man rushed up and slapped me hard, his emotions running high. So it was you who made my son have an allergic reaction. Do you know that you almost killed him? It was the patient's father, and he was exactly the one who stabbed me to death on the street in my previous life. I took this slap without any warning, and out of the corner of my eye, I happened to see Selena not far away. There was a look of complacency in her eyes. Obviously, she deliberately told the patient's family about this matter. Before I could open my mouth to explain, Eric had already walked over quickly with Selena. As soon as he came up, he said angrily, "Gemma, you really made an operational error and almost killed the patient. What else do you have to say?" I looked at Eric's gloomy face and said, "One should present evidence when speaking. You say that I made an operational error. Where's the evidence?" Selena beside me answered with her inner thoughts again. It seems that senior sister really refuses to admit her guilt even when facing death. I can't just stand up and say that I'm a witness. Moreover, senior sister has a lot of seniority. I'm afraid no one would believe me even if I said so. As soon as Eric heard this, he immediately said, "Selena was on the operating table at that time and saw you give the wrong medicine with her own eyes. She's the evidence." I turned around and looked at Selena. But as far as I can remember, all the medicines during the operation were given to the patient by you. If there was really a mistake, then it should be you who made the mistake. A hint of guilt flashed in Selena's eyes, but then she immediately pretended to be timid and innocent. "Senior sister, are you trying to shirk responsibility?" Junior brother Owen was also present at that time. He also saw with his own eyes that you gave the wrong medicine. Owen, who was standing beside her, immediately took a step forward when he heard this and looked at me unkindly. I saw with my own eyes that Gemma gave the wrong medicine. Now she even wants to frame the junior sister. How disgusting. Hearing what he said, the people present were even more convinced that it was me. Especially the patient's family members, who were even more emotional and wanted to rush up to hit me. They were stopped by the colleagues beside them. I looked at the scene that was exactly the same as in my previous life in front of me, and I just felt a chill in my heart. At this moment, Eric also stepped forward and his tone softened a bit. "All right, Gemma. I know you didn't do it on purpose, but since you made a mistake, you still have to take the responsibility. As your fiancé, I'll go to the leaders and plead for you. However, you'll have to give up your study abroad quota to the junior sister." Hearing this, I slowly raised my head and finally realized that this incident wasn't simply Selena's mistake and her attempt to shirk responsibility and make me take the blame. It was a blatant trap. The three of them had set up a scheme and were waiting for me to fall into it. Thinking of this, I sneered, "So you still remember that you're my fiancé?" As my fiancé, you believed Selena's words immediately. Without even investigating, you just assumed that I gave the patient the wrong medicine. Eric, anyone who didn't know would think that you're Selena's fiancé. Hearing this, Selena immediately widened her innocent eyes and continued to pretend to be aggrieved. "Senior sister, are you trying to smear me?" At the same time, her inner thoughts rang out, "Senior brother is so outstanding. Why does he have a fiancé like senior sister with such bad morals? I really feel sorry for senior brother." Hearing this inner thought, Eric seemed to be even more encouraged. He gritted his teeth and glared at me. Gemma, that's enough. Apologize to the junior sister right now, or I'll report this matter to the hospital leaders and have you fired as required. Now their true intentions were laid bare. I stared coldly at Eric and Selena. What a coincidence. I'm also planning to report this matter to the leaders and let the hospital investigate clearly who almost killed the patient. In Chapter 3, after such a commotion at the entrance of the operating room, seeing that I had no intention of begging for mercy or explaining, Eric made the matter even bigger again. He quickly reported the matter to the hospital and asked Selena and Owen to testify that I almost killed the patient. The hospital immediately investigated the matter and held a hospital-wide meeting the next day. When I received the notice and arrived at the conference room, all the colleagues in the hospital looked at me with contempt and started talking among themselves. Look at Gemma's usually haughty look. I thought she was so capable. Who would have thought that she would make such a basic mistake? Yeah. She's supposed to be an excellent doctor. I've long heard that she has an ambiguous relationship with several old professors. Could it be that she got the title of excellent by using her body? Junior sister Selena is so lovely. She's always smiling and has strong working ability. Hearing everyone's comments, Selena became even more complacent. Seeing me coming, she once again used her inner thoughts to speak. It said that senior sister has an ambiguous relationship with several old professors. What if those old professors distort the facts for senior sister? Hearing this, Eric sneered. Gemma, since you're here, you'd better have the courage to take responsibility for what you've done. Don't try to interfere with the result by using some disgusting means. I should say this to you instead. I turned around and gave her a disdainful look, then sat down directly. Seeing this, a hint of coldness flashed in Selena's eyes, and then she looked at Eric again. I can only trust senior brother this time. Only senior brother can clear my name. Immediately, Eric seemed to be stimulated. He directly took out some documents and went onto the stage and said, Dear leaders, regarding the incident that Gemma gave the patient the wrong medicine, which led to an allergic reaction and almost killed the patient, the evidence is all here. The data records were altered by her. Besides, both Selena and Owen were on the operating table at that time and can prove that it was indeed her who did it. Owen immediately said from the audience, Yes, I saw with my own eyes that Gemma took the wrong medicine. The vice president on the stage changed his expression and turned to look at me. Gemma, as a doctor for many years, making such a mistake means that you should be fired according to the hospital's regulations. Dean, although Owen was in the operating room during the operation, he was responsible for sorting out the instruments on the side. He didn't go onto the operating table. How could he see that I gave the wrong medicine? The vice president was stunned for a moment. Are you just quibbling? My expression remained unchanged. I just want to restore the truth. What truth do you want to restore? The truth is that you seriously failed in your duty as a doctor, almost killed the patient and even tried to shift the responsibility to your colleagues. The vice president made a final decision while not forgetting to glance in Eric's direction. Just from this glance, I keenly noticed that something was wrong between Eric and the vice president. It seemed that Eric had already bribed him and planned to nail me down here. The other leaders present also had ugly expressions on their faces and looked at me with contempt. And at this moment, Selena got up, crying, Dear leaders, I know that I'm a nobody and that just by arguing, I can't prove my innocence. So I wanted to retrieve the surveillance video of the operation process, but unexpectedly, the video had already been deleted. If it wasn't because of a guilty conscience, why would someone delete the surveillance video? When she said this sentence, she deliberately omitted the subject, but it made everyone present look at me. Selena successfully made me fall into the trap of proving myself. No matter how much I tried to argue at this moment, without the surveillance video, everyone would think that I was the one who deleted it. The voices of discussion grew louder and louder, and people started cursing that I didn't deserve to be a doctor. And Selena leaned against Eric complacently and once again used her inner thoughts to speak. Someone like senior sister is really scary. She was so meticulous that she even deleted the surveillance video. How on earth could senior brother endure her? Senior brother deserves a better girl. Hearing Selena's hypocritical inner thoughts, I just thought that the two of them, a scumbag and a bitch, were a perfect match. I stared at Selena and took a step forward. Suddenly, I said, "Who told you that the surveillance content on the operating table was deleted?" Selena was stunned. She never expected that I would ask this question. She blurted out subconsciously, "All the surveillance videos of yesterday were deleted, and naturally that includes the one on the operating table." I raised my eyebrows. "You know it so clearly. Could it be that you deleted the surveillance video?" "Of course not me." Selena immediately denied it, and a look of panic flashed in her eyes. At this time, Eric also took a step forward and looked at me with a disgusted expression. "Gemma, at a time like this, stop playing the trick of a thief crying, 'Stop thief.' It was clearly you who deleted the surveillance video. Who else do you want to frame now?" Owen also sneered and said, "Yeah, senior sister." The other nurses on the operating table at that time also noticed something was wrong. If it weren't for your threats that made them afraid to speak up, they would probably have come out to testify against you long ago. And the patient's family members. That poor old man almost lost his only son because of you. Don't you feel the slightest bit of guilt? Buckets of dirty water were being poured on me. Clearly, they wanted to firmly pin this crime on me and not give me any chance to turn the situation around. All right? Since they were going to force me into a corner, then don't blame me for dragging them all into hell with me. The good show is about to begin. In Chapter 4, I stared at Owen with a sneer. "Owen, you keep claiming to be indignant for the old man. Then why did you delete the only video that could give the old man an explanation?" I asked him a sharp counter-question directly, and his expression changed instantly. Panic uncontrollably appeared in his eyes. "You? What nonsense are you talking about? I didn't delete the surveillance video. Don't you dare frame me." I gave him a cold glance, then turned around and went directly onto the stage. I connected my prepared mobile phone to the screen and projected the content I had recorded onto it. Soon, Owen's figure clearly appeared in the picture. He sneaked into the monitoring room and deleted all the surveillance videos of that day while the staff wasn't paying attention. After deleting them, he proudly took out WeChat and sent a voice message to someone. "Don't worry. All the surveillance videos have been deleted. You have to perform well tonight." Then, seeing that there was no one around, he carefully left the monitoring room. At this point in the video, everyone naturally understood what was going on and exclaimed in surprise at the reversal. "Oh my God. It was Owen who deleted the surveillance video. Could it be that he was the one who gave the patient the wrong medicine? How could it be him? With his current qualifications, he couldn't even be on the operating table at all. Didn't you hear the voice message he sent? He told others to rest assured. It must be that he deleted it for someone else." Owen's face immediately turned ashen. He subconsciously glanced in Selena's direction, and the latter immediately shook her head slightly. At the same time, her inner thoughts rang out with a hint of anxiety. How could there be such a video? It must be forged by Gemma. Owen's eyes lit up instantly. He turned around and pointed at me, loudly denying it. "Gemma, and I still called you senior sister. You're trying to drag me down now just to shirk your responsibility. Where on earth did you forge these videos? How shameless." Only then did I realize that it wasn't just Eric who could hear Selena's inner thoughts, but also Owen. No wonder in my previous life she played Owen like a dog. He was clearly a rich young master but was willing to follow Selena around. It turned out that she used her inner thoughts to control two people at the same time. How impressive. Eric, who was standing beside, obviously also heard this inner thought, so he immediately said, "Gemma, although the figure in your surveillance video looks like Owen, there's no frontal face from beginning to end. The clearest one is just a side face. Moreover, there's no specific time on it at all, which makes it hard not to suspect that this is a forged video." After being told this by him, the colleagues immediately felt it made sense like grass swaying in the wind and once again turned their eyes on me. At the same time, Selena also found a colleague from the technical department in a proper manner and said seriously, "Senior brother, we can't misunderstand senior sister about this kind of thing. Let's let the professionals take a look at this video." "What a thoughtful junior sister," Eric praised repeatedly. Then he winked at that technician again. And that technician immediately understood what he meant. He pretended to go onto the stage and took a few glances at the video, then directly spouted nonsense. "The audio and video of this video are not in sync at all. It's obvious that it's forged. It seems that Dr. Gemma has really made full preparations in advance to frame others." The technician's mocking tone immediately made all the colleagues ridicule me, and even the several leaders on the stage also showed disgusted looks at me. After all, the hospital is a sacred place, and the profession of doctor has higher requirements for personal character. If it was really determined that I forged the video to frame my colleagues, not only would I be fired, but no other hospital would accept me in the future. At this point in the development of the matter, Selena's expression became complacent. Even her inner thoughts couldn't help but become arrogant. Since Gemma has caused such a scandal, the study abroad quota must be mine. Great. Eric and Owen simultaneously cast a look of seeking credit at Selena, and the latter seemed to casually respond to both of them at the same time. And those two didn't even notice that something was wrong. What a mastermind. The vice president who had spoken just now also looked at me with even more disdain in his tone at this time. "Gemma, it's clear now. Since you did this yourself, you have to take the responsibility yourself. Now I announce that you are fired. Since you don't believe the video on my mobile phone, then you should believe the surveillance video on the operating table," I said coldly, directly interrupting the unfinished words of the vice president. I took a step forward and pushed aside the so-called technician directly, connected to the screen again, and clicked to play the video that I had copied out in advance in the eyes of everyone's slightly puzzled looks. Suddenly, the clear picture on the operating table immediately came into everyone's eyes. It could be seen that Selena picked up the patient's medical record, deliberately found the patient's allergy history that I had marked in advance on it. After confirming the allergic medicine, she went to the medicine box and found this medicine. Then, taking advantage of my inattention, she deliberately mixed the medicine into the patient's infusion bottle and quickly infused it into the patient's body. And I noticed something was wrong at the first moment when the patient had an allergic reaction. I reacted quickly and asked the nurse to bring the allergy medicine and inject it into the patient. Then an emergency rescue was carried out, and only then was the patient's life saved. The picture stopped abruptly here. The truth on the operating table was finally revealed. In Chapter 5, it was actually Selena who did it, and she did it on purpose. She deliberately gave the patient the medicine after knowing the patient's allergy history. Oh my God. This woman is so terrifying. This is intentional homicide. Why did she do this? Could she be an antisocial personality? Moreover, she also deceived Eric and Owen into helping her conceal it and helping her shirk responsibility. She almost succeeded. She's really calculating. Everyone was shocked by this scene in the video. No one knew why Selena would do such a terrifying thing. And she herself was completely flustered. She didn't care about her inner thoughts and immediately opened her mouth to explain loudly, "It's not me. It really isn't me. It's Gemma who's framing me. She forged the video. She's framing me. Senior brother, please help me prove it. It really isn't me. Owen, tell everyone quickly that I'm innocent." Selena panicked and asked Eric and Owen for help, but in the face of such conclusive evidence, the two of them couldn't say anything else. Just then, the door of the conference room was pushed open, and several policemen walked in solemnly. Someone called the police saying that there was a doctor in the hospital suspected of intentional murder. What's going on? I'm the one who called the police. I raised my hand among the noisy crowd and walked up to the policeman with a serious expression. "Uncle policeman, Dr. Selena almost killed the patient on the operating table. I suspect that she did it deliberately. These videos are the evidence. Please go back and investigate it thoroughly." When Selena heard this, she was completely frantic and shouted desperately that she didn't do it and that she was innocent. However, the policeman didn't care about that and directly took her away for investigation. Everyone just watched helplessly as Selena was taken away and couldn't do anything. Only Eric rushed towards me viciously. "Gemma, how could you be so vicious? Now that Selena has been taken away, are you satisfied?" "You." Slap. Without any hesitation, I slapped him directly. "How dare you hit me?" Eric couldn't believe it. I sneered, "I hit you, you scumbag who doesn't know what's good for you. Listen carefully. From this moment on, you're no longer my fiancé. I know all the disgusting things you've done to me. You'd better stay away from me in the future, or don't blame me for being rude." After saying that, I left the conference room with my head held high under everyone's gaze. A bunch of trash. Let's see if you dare to frame me again. In Chapter 6, the results of the hospital's investigation came out soon. Because I rescued the patient in time and avoided a medical accident, the hospital once again rated me as an excellent doctor and promoted me. As for Selena and Owen, they were fired by the hospital because of this incident, and Eric was also demoted due to being implicated. However, with the efforts of Owen and Eric to protect her, Selena was not finally judged as intentional murder and was released soon. On the day she was released, she blocked me at the entrance of the hospital like a madwoman. "Gemma. You bitch. You've ruined all my plans. I won't let you off." I looked at her as if she were a clown. "You came to provoke me and tried to take away what belonged to me. But after failing, you can't afford to lose. Isn't it ridiculous? If I were you, I'd take advantage of the fact that Owen and Eric still have some feelings for you now and use your little tricks to coax them. After all, the days when these two lapdogs compete for your favor won't last long." I found it even funnier when I saw her gnashing her teeth with anger. I deliberately patted her on the shoulder and turned around to leave. And as soon as I got into my car and hadn't driven too far, I saw Selena suddenly start crying coquettishly. I took a closer look and found that it was Eric who had come out. Out of curiosity, I deliberately parked my car in the position closest to their car. Sure enough, I heard Selena's hypocritical inner thoughts. "Woohoo, I'm so stupid. Just because Owen said a few words that Eric wouldn't like me, I was so jealous that I went to frame Gemma, and as a result, I even implicated Eric. I really like Eric so much. I wish I could be his girlfriend. He's so great and has a good figure. Oh, I'm so shy. What am I thinking? Why do I always feel so lustful when I see senior brother?" When Eric heard these words, he was really aroused. He even forgot that he was in the car at the moment and stepped forward and hugged Selena. "You little vixen. So you're so infatuated with me." Then the two of them started their shameless activities. I forced myself to bear the discomfort and quickly took out my mobile phone to secretly take pictures of this scene, and then sent it anonymously to Owen's email. Thinking about Owen's reaction when he saw this video, I couldn't help laughing. The only two fish in Selena's fish pond were blown up by me like this. I wonder if she would go crazy when she found out. In Chapter 7, that night, I made an appointment with my best friend to relax in a bar. Originally, I just wanted to change my mood recently. Coincidentally, I ran into Owen drowning his sorrows in alcohol. It seemed that he had seen the video of Selena and Eric that I sent him, so he was alone in the bar. Soon, Selena rushed in. She was wearing a very sexy black halter dress, which matched the atmosphere of the bar very well. When she saw Owen, she tried to step forward and hug him, but Owen pushed her away. However, Selena wasn't angry. Instead, she hooked Owen and walked towards the direction of the washroom. I couldn't suppress my curiosity and opened the video recording mode on my mobile phone again and followed them. Sure enough, I saw Selena pushing Owen into the washroom, pretending to be innocent and asking what was wrong with him on her lips, while her inner thoughts continued to follow the green tea route. What's going on? Why is Owen ignoring me? Could it be that Owen has discovered that Eric threatened me to have a relationship with him before he would help me? Woohoo! What should I do? He won't like me anymore. But I really like Owen so much. He's tall, handsome and treats me well. And he's the most impressive man to me in that aspect. Only when I'm under him can I experience the joy of being a woman. What should I do? I really want to throw myself at him now. The same trick made Owen's blood boil again. He rushed forward, picked up Selena and directly put her on the wash basin, lifted her skirt viciously, and said with a possessive tone, "You're mine. Always mine. I won't allow that trash Eric to touch you again." Selena immediately nodded obediently, "Yes, yes, I'm yours, I'll always be yours." The two of them fell into chaotic activities again. And in my camera lens, I clearly captured Selena's disdainful expression after succeeding, as if she was playing with her toys. Just like during the day, I also sent this video anonymously to Eric. Eric's emotions were much more excited than Owen's. When he saw the video, he rushed to Selena and slapped her twice without hesitation. "Bitch. I dumped Gemma and lost my job because of you, and yet you still dare to cheat on me." Selena also got angry after being slapped and said through gritted teeth, "It's clearly because you're useless. You couldn't even help me get the study abroad quota, and now you still have the nerve to hit me. Eric, I'm telling you, Owen is better than you. Even in bed, he's better." After completely falling out, Selena didn't bother to pretend with Eric anymore and said it directly through gritted teeth. Eric was trembling all over. "You're lying to me. That's not what you really think in your heart. You clearly love me deeply in your heart." Selena sneered and said with contempt, "Idiot, that was a mind control trick I deliberately used on you. I deliberately let you hear my thoughts and deliberately said those words for you to hear." Eric completely broke down. He never dreamed that Selena's love, which he had always been proud of, had been a deception from start to finish. In a fit of impulse, he rushed forward and tightly gripped Selena's neck, his eyes bloodshot with murderous intent. And Selena struggled desperately. Finally, she was rescued when she was on the verge of death. In Chapter 8, although it was just a momentary impulse, Eric's behavior had already constituted an attempted intentional homicide, and he was soon arrested. And Selena injured her vocal cords because of this and couldn't speak ever since. At first, when Owen learned about this, he felt very sorry for Selena and helped her deal with Eric. But after Eric took the initiative to meet with Owen, Owen completely broke off with Selena. Owen found me and apologized to me, hoping that I would forgive him for the surveillance video incident. I just ignored him as if he didn't exist. The tragic fate of my death on the street in my previous life couldn't be compensated for by just his simple apology. Selena completely lost everything. She unwillingly went to find Owen many times but was always turned away. Owen was originally a playboy. His fascination with Selena was mostly due to the novelty of the mind-reading incident. After realizing that he had been deceived, he quickly got over it, and there were other girls around him immediately. When Selena learned about this, she went to him many times, but Owen was extremely disgusted. After several times, Owen's new girlfriend also developed a dislike for Selena. It was said that she directly hired a few hooligans to get Selena drunk and dragged her into an alley. Not only was she molested all night, but also various photos were taken, and she was warned not to approach Owen again. Selena was completely desperate, so she transferred all her hatred onto me. One late night, just as I got into my car after work, she drove and followed me. Her face was full of hatred as she tried to run me over. Because she was so close, I could hear her crazy inner thoughts again. "It's all your fault, Gemma. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have ended up like this. Today, I'll make you die with me. I'll crash you into the river. Let's all die." Relying on her inner thoughts, I quickly turned right and dodged at the moment when she hit me the hardest. At the same time, I heard a loud bang, and Selena's car crashed into the guardrail and was half smashed. I walked over and called the police first, and then dialed 120. Then I slowly stood in front of Selena, who was covered in blood, and chuckled. "Why, at the moment before death, why don't you have any thoughts in your heart? I haven't heard enough of your inner thought performances yet. Is it over just like this?" Selena finally stared at me in shock, opened her mouth in disbelief, but couldn't say anything except the sounds of "ah." And her inner thoughts were only left with, How could you? Impossible. I smiled and stepped back, making a goodbye gesture to her. Go to hell, you piece of trash.